What is up YouTube, it's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're back with another market watch. So doing these as often as I can, kind of like once a week I guess, towards like Wednesday, Thursday, probably releasing on Friday. So a lot is happening in the market right now, a lot of things are changing, and I think the V meta really isn't kind of flushed out necessarily. I think a lot of things are kind of slept on or underrated in a way, so I think the market is kind of reflecting that. A lot of people going behind the scenes, buying right before SpringFest, and prices are going to be a little bit higher in general, so I do want to hop right into it. Again, if you are enjoying these kind of market watch videos, let me know down below. Make sure to leave a like on the video, possibly subscribe to the channel. We have tons of different things, a lot of deck profiles coming up, as well as some matches. So let's hop right in. We're going to be talking about Covert Demonic Dragon Magatsu Storm. So obviously Magatsu is being played in both premium and I think in V premium right now. Got some pretty decent support with reverse, and I think there's a lot of hype at the moment, but the SVR version in general is selling well above its market price, so its market price is 17, and as we can see over here, for a playset, you're going to pay almost $30 for it. Once this playset is gone, boom, it hits that over $30 price point, and the floor is kind of set there. It is kind of expensive at the moment. I know a lot of people do want to go after these max rarity things as that SpringFest season kind of approaches. Even if they're not playing the deck, you know, they want to bust it out, flex, whatever the case is. So just a heads up with this guy, it is moving, and we do see, you know, during March there are a couple copies that did sell for this price, so I think the price will kind of continue to kind of be around that. Don't be surprised if it gets a little bit higher. Next up over here too, shout out to somebody who I think has followed me for a bit. I remember him commenting on a while back on a Bermuda video or something, but he posted on Twitter, Azim, shouts out to you if you're watching, but he posted a picture of this Charat vampire and or vampire, and I think it just has to be said, the VR rarity in general in the V series, it was really nice. Even though this is a base rarity card, like the texture, everything about VRs, I personally like a lot more compared to some other games, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh, even Prismatic Rare, things like that. Like, they're not textured, it's not the same. So very nice with the art over here, and it did just bring me, you know, my memory to this card over here, Charat Vampire. This is actually a viable card to play in Amon, and I think a lot of people are kind of changing. I think there was like an NLK kind of hype train originally. A lot of people are playing Amon Pure, which I think is actually probably the best variant, but this definitely can be like a backup ride, and I think the cheaper copies are being bought out right here. So we see constant decline. This card was like crazy expensive, like maybe, was it 5 months ago? Yeah, it was like $13. We're kind of getting back up to that price point here. All the cheap copies have been sold out, and I think a lot of, yeah, 323 right over here, so just a couple days ago. I think people are realizing this is actually a decent backup ride for Amon and can actually further your I feel like game style a little bit better, or game plan better than NLK in general. So watch out for this guy. This guy did just hit a new floor in general to back up to some of those hype prices that we were seeing. No more cheap copies really on the market. Over here too, I know I've been talking about it quite a bit, I just want to quickly touch on it, but Mythical Beast Fenrir, we keep on seeing in WGPs or VGCS, I forgot what they are, what the actual name of the tournament, but they're bigger tournaments, and I see them on Twitter, in Japanese, I guess, Vanguard Twitter. Fenrir is winning over there. I think it's just a matter of time until it really comes to the West, and I think that people kind of caught on. You know, recently there are a bunch of these Fenrirs kind of going off of the market, and we see the floor like as pretty much being set at that $9. There's only 2 copies at that $7, so I think the West finally has realized that Fenrir is actually a decent deck in this meta. It's a little bit slower than it was previously. This deck does a whole lot. It bulks out with a lot of general witch support. It gives you just a constant aggression. You're on force numbers too, and it is like a control kind of as well. So it's like a jack of all trades almost, and it's just enough to kind of get you further into the game, and I think actually have some decent results. So watch out for Fenrir. I could see this actually becoming a little bit more expensive, so if you are looking to pick it up, I know I've warned you for the past couple weeks, but do it now, do it now. Over here too, something that is absolutely nuts, the Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom SVR, absolutely insane. This guy has reached kind of like new highs. I think the listed median price $53. We are seeing them sell very recently for that $45 mark over here. So if you want a play set of these things, you're in for about $200, a little bit less for that 3 copy over there, but the regular version too, you're in for pretty much the same amount almost. Like, it's absolutely crazy, and people are, you know, maybe these aren't selling out necessarily at that price, but people were buying them this month. And you know, Maelstrom Reverse is a decent deck. It's not the best, I would say. Probably not the best on Aquaforce at the moment, probably tied for the best, but you know, this, you can play so many different variants. You don't have to play the reverse, you can play so many variants of this deck. Champions of the Asia Circuit's always been a very expensive kind of set, so just a heads up, this is absolutely astronomical. I'm not purchasing those at the moment. Don't have a play set myself, but definitely not buying for that price. Excuse me there. All right, getting right into it, we're going to be talking about Dragonic Overlord, the X over here. Like, this is another card that did get bought out, so all the cheap copies are gone. I want to view the sales history over here, because this wasn't that expensive, and now all of a sudden it is up to like this $23, $24 price range, well exceeding its market price, well exceeding anything that we've seen in the past like 6-7 months, really. Yeah, it was kind of high for a while, but yeah, now it's leveled out at that $13, $14 kind of price range. But people are big on this because, again, SpringFest is around the corner. People perceive this as like a pretty simple premium deck to build. They don't really even need a G zone for it. I think a lot of the support is kind of just speaks for itself in this, and I don't think in the West we're playing Dragonic Overlord, the X and the V. I would definitely say this buyout is really due to, yeah, this is definitely moving recently, definitely due to premium, so that's what I would chalk it up to. It's really good too with the grade 1 PGs that count just to your hand, so, you know, if one card's in hand, just discard that PG. This guy always counts it as one, so very nice synergy there. And again, you don't really need a G zone, so if you're not really into premium, you kind of want to play it, maybe that's why people are doing it. I do want to talk about this too. I know we're kind of going like in a weird mixed up order over here, but Aerial Divine Knight Altmile has seen some recent movement. Somebody picked up a playset over here, and we're seeing the price start to kind of go past its normal market price. I think you're going to see a lot of people go for these heavy hitter decks like this, MLB, things that just, you know, they might need a turn or two to ramp up, but once they do, they hit heavy every single turn, just very consistent. I feel like Altmile is kind of in that category, especially with some of the newer support that we did get in English to kind of put the Altmile in Soul like immediately. Not newer at this point, but this is a turn 3 deck. You can go live on turn 3, which is actually pretty good, so I think it's decent. I would say watch this card because it is starting to become a little bit more expensive for a playset. Like, once we get past these first 2 playsets here, we're looking at $15 a copy, something that we really haven't seen for quite a while on this card. I think maybe at launch it was like that, but not for a while. Over here too, another card kind of from that same era, maybe a little bit after, but Gurgit. So Gurgit did get Percival unbanned, and we're seeing Percival drop, and we'll go over that in just a second, but I think we're going to slowly see this card start to rise, because Gurgit's actually still a very decent deck in my opinion. I've kind of modified my list to run it with Percival and just taking out 1 or 2 things, but overall, I think it's actually pretty strong. Still is oppressive if you get to that second grade 3 turn, and if you're going first, you know, I mean second, if you're, you know, able to just get those spam calls off, this deck can really turbo out quickly. So we see, if you want to play set, you're looking at that like, you know, $8, $5. Like, there's a couple random postings. If you want a real playset from one person, it is $10 a copy. It's not insanely higher than its market price, and there are quite a few copies on there, but I would not be surprised if we start to see this tick up a little bit more, because again, the meta has slowed down in V, in my opinion. And of course, I'm talking about it before, Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. I can't speak. Oh my god, we saw its price actually plummet. So the day after, so we started to see prices trickle down. This was like a $16 card, pretty much. Yeah, the market price was at $17, which was so oppressive kind of in some other decks. But yeah, like I said, price is finally starting, and I don't think we've seen the bottom here. Like, you know, 50 cards, good seller and everything, 15 copies right there. I think, you know, people are getting a little bit more motivated to sell these, so maybe this will be the floor, but I think we will see a little bit less on this card over here. So maybe that $5.99 is kind of the price point, and we don't need a playset because we can't play a playset in standard, and I think that, or V series I should say, but this is still really good in Gold Paladin Premium. So if you are looking to pick it up for premium, do it now while it's at that lower price point. And again, another zinger, this is actually one of the sneakiest sets in Vanguard. Astral Force, so overlooked, but such value in here. So this guy over here, this was during the COVID, like peak COVID time, just when it first started. This stuff I think got released over there, so maybe supplies were kind of limited, I don't really know. But this set, if you want a playset of this guy, we're looking at over $120, so really actually insane for a deck that's perceived to be pretty good. Definitely got a bump with the ban list, but I still don't know if it's tier 1. It's like, doesn't have consistency issues, but it's such a telegraphed game plan. You can kind of set yourself up, but at the same time, it is really strong, and I think that there are definitely ways and players out there that can make this deck actually one of the best decks in one of the better decks in format. I don't know if I'd say best, but overall, watch this guy, because this is market price $22, and we're seeing this go for $30 over here for a playset. Like I said, $120, so this is actually crazy. Also, this guy over here too, the Constellation guy. This grade 2 is actually, don't think it had a reprint, and it is very expensive. Next up over here, a clan that is interesting at the moment. I think Davos is going to be kind of brought to light. I see in Japan a lot of people are playing it, but in the West I don't see a ton of people at the moment. I think this card is actually good. I think this deck is actually good for both premium and for V series. So I see all the cheap copies of this have been sold out. Like, let's look at the sales history here. you know, $2, $2, $2, $7 or whatever it is. Boom, this got bought out, and this price has spiked. Market price of $6, and this guy is up to $9 a copy. If you want to place that, again, it's like $9 a copy. So the floor has been reset on this card. Very expensive. Let's just click into Davos over here too, because this is actually not the Vanguard rare. This is the triple rare version of him, right? Yeah, triple rare. And this is actually more expensive than the grade 4 unit. So very interesting overall. This guy over here, market price $9.50. It is a little bit cheaper than that, but yeah, if you really want to place that, Ideal is the best. Yeah, I might come down, but I remember when these are like $2. I regret not picking up a playset. I was like, I'll never really play it. I ended up playing a lot of Aqua, so woe is me. Sneaky guy over here too from the Champions of Asia circuit. This guy over here, Storm Rider Diamantes. So he is interesting because he's kind of fulfilling that, I guess it's the Tidal Assault kind of playstyle. I don't know why this is actually a little bit more expensive. It did get bought out earlier this month. I don't know if it's the first battle turn, it gets 3k when it attacks. It's the third battle or more Counterblast 1. I guess it does get a restand. Counterblast is a little bit heavy, I think, in Aqua Force. It's not the greatest card ever, but again, if you're, you hit a bunch of fronts, want to restand him, so be it. It is an old triple rare. I see why it is a little bit more expensive overall, I guess. So playsets, again, $40 for this guy. You don't really play this at a playset, I don't think, any current Aqua Force deck, but it is what it is. Just wanted to bring that up. And in general, this set over here is, like I said, money. Like, even the old copies that did get reprinted and stuff, they're still pretty money overall. One of my favorite SPs, this Basskirk over here, but I really wanted to talk about, did I bring it up? Yes, it is. So let me close this over here. Super Dimensional Robot Dayusha, the original one, the OR version. So randomly, this kind of got, not bought out, but slowly kind of copies were being purchased, and then boom, now the floor for this card is not even being used as far as I know, in both in V and in Premium. So I don't know why it's being bought out. If you know, let me know. I guess maybe a Vanguard Zero set dropped or something, but I think this has been out for a while in that game. I don't really play it, but I have one copy of this. Maybe I'll sell it, I don't know. I've had this card for so long. I just really love the art on this. So very interesting card overall, just kind of randomly spiked. Draconic Vanquisher 2, one of my favorite V decks. Obviously Narukami is my favorite clan period, but this is the base rarity, and this got bought out. You cannot get copies of this anymore on TCG Player at the moment. So we see people really kind of investing in this deck. They really take this serious, and I think that's 100% true. Like that's an accurate statement. Like, this deck is so good in the meta right now. The meta's kind of, again, devolved and slowed down to a point where, like, the high roll solitaire deck of Gabriel's kind of gone. Some oppressive gold paladin stuff with Spectral Duke is out the window. Melody, again, another high roll deck gone. Luard, more or less destroyed. You can counterstar them, really play around them, and go the distance with that deck. So decks like this over here, just consistent high pressure control, like Fenrir, again, kind of like that same, almost that same idea, very different style, but not different style, different way of going about it, same idea, where you're doing a whole lot, you're drawing a lot, you're binding your opponent's units out, you're getting multi-attack off, so a lot of confusion on your opponent's turn as well, or their kind of guarding patterns and whatnot can be affected. And we see this card is being purchased at this price. Like, this has really never been a cheap card. Like, I guess $18, yeah, that. But I remember when this first came out, I still paid $25, and I think, people are going to list these things. They might come back around that $25 mark, but overall, we cannot get a playset at this moment. So very, very sad if you are looking to get into it. But Monarch Sanctuary, Alfred, the SVR randomly is spiked. So we haven't seen people purchase this in quite a while, but I was just looking around. I saw the market price is about $5, and the SVR copy, I was looking at just picking up one maybe like a month or two ago. It wasn't that much. All of a sudden now we're seeing them for like $13. I've seen some like YouTube like blaster profiles and whatnot coming out. I don't know if this is really being used. I think this might be a nostalgia thing at this point for that set, but this is well above its market price. Just wanted to talk about that. It isn't really moving, but something if you have in your trade binder, whatever, this is definitely going up in value. And I know I mentioned it before, NLK, it is viable to put in your Amon deck, but at the same time, I don't think it's the best strategy. But again, people still want to do it, and this is the numero uno kind of copy of it, the SVR. I love the SVR foiling. I really hope they bring that back at some point, in some capacity at least. The SPs are cool, but they're kind of boring in my opinion. But we see this being bought out kind of at that $15 mark. It got all the cheap copies, did get bought out a little bit earlier this month. Now, if you want to play set of this guy, again, it is $25. And I think Amon is actually, I don't know if it's slept on. I think it's maybe disrespected. Some people say it's not that good. If you've played it before, you know how deadly it actually can be. Ripping cards from your hand, your field, everything just feels kind of oppressive. And if you don't have your, the PG in hand, it can be a pretty difficult game overall. So just wanted to bring light to this card over here. Next up too, I think this might be out of order a little bit over here, but this is a crazy card. Explode Jewel Knight Lael. This and the grade 1 companion card. We'll go over those in just a second, but playsets of this are now $60 on top of the same thing going for the grade 1. Absolutely nuts. People are saying this is a viable deck in premium. I don't really know. In V, is it anything special? I mean, it's good. It's definitely like at least a tier 2, I would say probably tier 1.5 kind of deck. I don't know if it's just like a waifu tax on this card or what it is, but all copies are being purchased kind of like very recently, and this card is extremely expensive. This set, the Clan Selection plus Volume 2, both of these, the Volume 1 and Volume 2, actually were like big value in the long run. And yeah, we see over here, same deal for the grade 1, $2 cheaper. Absolutely insane. Like, if you're looking to pick up this deck, that's like a $300 investment. Ashley over here, again, $7. It's just actually crazy. So if you picked these up earlier, you definitely got some value on your hands. Now, if you're not playing the deck, maybe now's the time to offload them. Who knows? I don't think they'll reprint them anytime soon. But again, who knows? This guy over here, yeah, if you want to place that, $11. I don't know why the grade 3s are so cheap comparatively, but it is what it is. The floor has been set on that kind of clan end style. So another interesting card over here. I think a lot of people are trying very weird things with Genesis in general because the support is so good generically. I was rocking a Fortuna Yggdrasil kind of build before this latest clan collection. Now I've kind of gone to Yatagarasu, kind of testing it out a little bit. I feel like it's a little wonky, but this card over here did get kind of I don't want to say bought out, but the cheaper copies are kind of off the market. Like, we were seeing them at that $8, $11 for a while. They were kind of stable at that price point, but now we're seeing them all the way up $13 for one. If you want your playset, you are looking at over $60 again too. So really insane. I don't know if this is still, I know it's pretty decent in premium. Maybe that's the reason this is getting picked up over here, but yeah, definitely being bought, and that price is increased. Another interesting card over here too, Ethics Buster. The SP got bought out, so all the cheap copies are gone off of the market fairly recently at least, and now there's just 2 copies left for $49. I don't know if I don't know who's an Overgrapple fan necessarily, like a hardcore Beast Deity one, but I don't know why this is getting bought out. If you know, let me know. I guess I just wanted to bring it to your attention over here. Next up over here too, this kind of makes me sad in a way because I've always been referring to this as a budget deck, and I think a lot of these things over here are starting to get out of that budget territory. So we're seeing Demonic Lord, Dudley Lucifer get kind of bought up a lot of copies very recently. I personally have bought 2 playsets of this because I have a premium and a V deck for this, so you know, I'm guilty of it too, I guess. But this guy is getting bought out. All the cheap copies are gone. You know, we could have picked it up for $1, $2. Now you're looking around $5 for this copy with a market price of $2.73. We see copies, if you want to place that, you know, you're looking at $16 or whatever it is. Pretty expensive for something that is more or less budget. And I think we're seeing this because there is definitely this is I think it's a decent deck in V. Like, I think it's actually really decent. And then in premium, the combos are absolutely insane. If you can pull off some of these like crazy attacks with Greed on and whatnot, like the deck is actually pretty nuts. And I think the price is starting to reflect that. People are hopping on the hype train. I know Spikes has kind of like a big following in a lot of different ways. Like, people who are passionate about Spikes are like really passionate. So they're kind of like broke the deck in premium in a way. And not saying it's unfair or anything, but it's definitely solid. And if you have the right player with these cards, it could be tough. So again, Dudley Davy is going up in price over here, market price of $2.10, all the way up to, you know, you want to copy a playset of this now, it's $16. Once that's kind of bought out too, $5.47, $20 for this card. Like, again, I picked these up for pretty cheap. I can't believe they're kind of going to that price at this point. This one's an interesting one. I know I keep on touching on Genesis. I guess I should have just put them all together, but I didn't want to bore you to death. A lot of the perfect guards are actually going up in price for this. I know over here kind of seems like a false bottom with that $1, but the bottom's actually $5 for this version of it. This is the Clan Selection Volume 2, so that's the kind of the triple rare version. As we can see over here, market price of $1. These guys are now up to like $2, $3. It's not as cheap as it once was to really get some of these perfect guards on your hands. So just be aware of that. The perfect guard for Genesis is going up. Argator Malkuth Melik. So today we received news that English is finally getting the promo that essentially, I don't know exactly what it does. I don't play the deck. I've played against it a million times though. A fun story really quick about this. During COVID, all I had was really, the latest deck I had, I think, was kind of like Agravain before the next stage stuff came out, and my buddy Devin, my teammate, he actually played this. We've probably played like 60 matches against each other with this deck. We tuned our decks both to like kind of fight against each other. It was just really funny. So I have a special connection, I guess, with this card, but we are seeing this guy start to get bought out for some, the cheaper copies are moving on this. I guess Ideal kind of listed them over here. They were holding on to a few, but once this playset, 2 playsets are out, you're looking at like $10, $14, $15 a copy for this card. And again, we did get that new English promo that essentially makes it possible to rewrite without like a second copy of something in a hand. I think that's the way my buddy was describing it. Don't quote me on it, but this is moving over here too. And the SVR version actually is really cool. The SVR, I think of this because it kind of matches the unit, but this guy over here too, market price of $14. We're seeing these guys get bought at $25. So market price, we don't even have a playset on here. If you want 2 of them, $25. Again, last save point, it seems to be the highest on like everything. Oops, I accidentally clicked into the store. Yeah, $50 on that. So absolutely insane. Cool, let's get rid of this over here. Moving on to like Overdress and some other units. Brainwash Swirler, super secret kind of like value. I think when it first came out it was like $8 or so. Let's look back at the price here. Let's see. Yeah, you could have picked them up for like $7, $6 and so, but now these are $15 cards. Like I think just before when I was opening this tab, it was like $12. So that got bought out. I think people are realizing you do want to play this from Bruce. They realize the value of it in Barrow as well. So it's used for both strategies. It's triple rare. Again, this set was like not short printed, but they reduced their rates of triple rares in the set. So that's why a lot of these are so expensive. And again, so valuable. Again, the second printing of this is coming, so maybe become a little bit cheaper. So if you're looking to pick this up, you don't have to rush or whatever. Definitely wait till the second printing comes and kind of hits our market here, because some of these Overdress cards are absolutely insane. Like this right here. Oh my gosh. The OT for Brentgate, right? $30, and it's like bought out. There's 2 copies left, 1 seller. Absolutely insane. Again, I know we got the second printing of this, and I know people want residual value in their cards, but at the same time, I feel like a broken record week after week. Like this is the entry level trigger unit you need to get into the game. Like this is the best one probably in the game in my opinion. But people, I guess premium season's coming around, they need it. People obviously need it for Overdress. Gravidia is probably one of the best decks in the format. I'll say top two, maybe top 3, whatever, semantics at that point. But people are looking to play that at SpringFest, and that is obviously something you need for the deck. So $30 for this right here. Like, I feel bad for you if you haven't picked up your copy yet. I told you, pick it up. I told you 2-3 weeks ago. I was like, it's $12 now. You probably should pick it up for that price. And boom, it got bought out. And it did exactly what I said. Also over here too, I think people are really investing in Gravidia, and these Perfect Guard Sentinels, market price of $5. Like, that's insane. You have to pay $20 for some PGs in this game. Like, I don't know. I thought this was supposed to be like your entry level kind of, not budget, but this is your format to start players off, and this is really tough. This is a tough pill to swallow. Again, these are not sexy cards. These are just like the bare necessities that you need in a playable deck to really function. You can use the trial deck ones, I guess, but you know, sometimes these have come in clutch. Just that one card, discard from hand, boom, saves you. So just really sad to see some of these staples become so expensive, and they're not bling cards either. So value pick of the week, and I kind of try to pick one card per week that I say like, oh, buy this, do this. In Japan, I see a lot of players, and at my locals too, I think, I see a lot of players actually playing this over the Rouge. I think that playing the Rouge is a little bit more high roll. This over here is actually a little bit more stable and helps you survive throughout the game. Sometimes you just need that one extra turn with this deck, and this will actually kind of help you get there. I'm personally going to take out Rouge and try to put this back in because I'm having some difficulties with the deck whenever I play it. I don't know if it's bad luck or whatever, but you could actually get really good deals on this right now. $1.75, it's not bad at all over here. 100% rating on that seller too, so get good. Not as expensive as it once was. This was like a $10, $7 kind of card. Let's look back 6 months over here. How much was this? Yeah, we sold them for like $10. Now they've just been plummeting. So I think recently the meta not has shifted, but I think a lot of players are trying this back out. This might actually be the correct play. So that is my value pick of the week. Pick this card up if you don't have it already and you are planning on playing. So let's just look at the general sets, the last couple sets that came out. Everything's pretty much the same over here. We see this kind of stabling out at that 209, 7 copies. I'll say that's okay. Let's check it out, actually, because I saw somebody with 4 copies of this on Twitter, and I was like, oof. He could have bought a lot of other things at that, but this guy is kind of stable at that price range. Again, I don't think we've seen the floor for this. It's sad. Himiko is just not a great deck in my opinion. I think it's okay. You can get some high roll plays off, but not really moving for too much. And I said it would drop, and boom, here we are, $80. Again, I would hold out on this if you really want it. I don't think it's gonna even stay at that $80 price range, sadly. And lastly, over here, let's check out Reverse. Again, such a beautiful card. 290, 320. Yeah, it's not really moving for that much. I think this is stable. The whales have already come in, done their thing. I think people are really big on it. Something that is surprising me over here, I think this was a little bit more. Now we see so many copies of Maelstrom Reverse. A lot of the SPs just didn't hold value. This is not, outrageous of a price for so long. Referate is actually a really good deck. If you haven't been playing it, definitely try it. It's like the most budget Bermuda thing you can do right now. It's actually insane. Dungaree, decent. I think this card is finally starting to exceed its market price over here. And again, I think everyone's just really hot on these Jewel Knights. So Eunice is $333. We see people buying it for $390, $4. I'm going to say it right now, if you don't have your playset, buy it right now. It's probably not going to go down. It's probably just going to inflate up like we saw with some of the other Jewel Knights overall. So I think too, another value pick really is Apple Witch Cider over here. I think it was starting to float towards that $3 mark. I was seeing before $247 it sold for. Yeah, I think we're going to see this kind of go up. Again, the Genesis people, there's not a ton of Genesis players in general, but this is a really good card. This and the promo really just bulk out your deck. Like, it's really crazy. There's a grade 2 promo. Also, lastly, I think this card over here is really decent. Can generally go into any Bermuda deck and be really good, actually. I'm playing this in my Referate, and I'm like, wow, it just adds to consistency, gets power. Like, this is such a good card. And the grade 1 companion too, I think that's the substitute that people are going to play for, for Prism. Like, this girl over here, like, get your extra copies because Ellie is now banned in that deck. This is actually really decent. And we Soul Blast in Prism, but at the same time, like, you can bind stuff from drops, so you can kind of get your things out a little less selectively, I guess. Like, you don't have to Soul Blast off of the Vanguard's cost for getting that unit in drop or whatever it is. Like, you can get multiple units in drop, so you can have that grade. I think it's a grade 1 that has to bind from drop or something. Just kind of helps with that and bulks out even more. So I really like this card. I think it's actually pretty decent. Next up over here too, the Clan Collection Volume 4. I know this video is a little long, I'm sorry for that, but we aren't seeing too much. I see Raging Fall kind of falling, ironically. I think this actually is a very good deck. I personally like it, but poor SVRs, nobody's buying it, or VSRs, whatever they call them. This, yeah, literally $321. There's one for $100. Again, I don't want to say I'm going to buy one, but I don't want to not say I'm going to buy one. Who knows? But $89. I'm still holding out. Like, I'm not tempted by any of these prices. Interesting, but not the greatest. Let's see over here. Sorry about that. I wish I would pause those notifications. Ramiel's a decent deck. Ezel Scissors kind of falling too. Reverse not doing too great. Yeah, these are pretty stable. We kind of sold them at that price range before. Reverse isn't put out. Amon's super stable at that $14. Let's see how many are available at that $14. Yeah, $13, $14. Yeah, it's kind of been floating around there. You can pick up a playset of this for $14. It's actually not bad at all. This guy over here is actually really good for all DI strategies. So, just more soul charge, honestly. Gets your opponent the ability to do that too. A little extra shield and whatnot. So, actually kind of decent. And I think, yeah, people are recognizing that this card will become expensive. Pick up your copies before they kind of run out and become like a $4 card. I can definitely see this becoming a $4 card over here. So let's just do one last sweep of Volume 4 over here, see what's up. Revenger's kind of holding steady. I don't think people are playing the deck correctly. I think a lot of people are doubting the deck. I think it's actually pretty good. It's like a high roll, crazy ride. The right player piloting the deck, I think it could be very good. Yeah, everything else is pretty stable. Nothing too crazy over here. And then lastly, let's go into Awakening of Chocobarthy. And again, this set is getting a reprint, so if you need any of these cards, don't be like, chomping at the bit, unless you're SpringFest is coming up. I forgot when they start, but interesting things. The spears are kind of a little bit more expensive than their market price right here. We did see them sell a couple days ago. Somebody kind of blinked out their deck. That's fine. Bop Saga is really good. We did see this kind of fall too, a little bit, like $10. I think last week it was like $80. Yeah, I was selling for like 85 around there, and then all of a sudden it's kind of coming down. Like, people got their copies, I guess, at this point. But once these cheaper copies are gone, yeah, it's still up to that $90 price range. So who knows? That's honestly like such a crazy value. I can't believe it really went to that. Sword's ticking up a little bit too. So interesting overall. Let's go back into the set and just check it out. I think Seraphs fell a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, Seraph's $17. Let's see. What's the deal with her? They're selling, yeah, obviously every day they're selling. That's fine. $20. Yeah, a couple of people kind of posted. Can't get full play sets, I guess, at that $17 price range. You're looking, $21, $20. Yeah, that's really the idea of this over here. So I think that's really all I have today. Let me know your comments down below, like anything that you think I missed, anything else in the market that you think is kind of just going to change, any predictions, let me know too. I'll definitely cover it next week, let you know my thoughts on it as well. Bastion, yeah, Bastion's still pretty stable. So thank you so much for watching. This is Alex from Team Generations signing out.